On the 3rd of April, I believe there was a conference in Amsterdam that you found very interesting. Could you tell us a little about it, Tony?
There was a conference whereby people like Richard Dolan, Timothy Good, I believe it is, Peter Lavender, I believe it was, they all got together and they were discussing a topic. The topic is pretty much where we need to pay our attention, or put our attention to. It's about how the Earth has been run by off-planet people, or the elite, and it was on the 3rd of April. Basically, if you can go and search breakaway civilizations and those people, they will give you a lot of information that was put out into the public domain. Read this very topic. Now, obviously, you have to get over the fact that we've got UFO technology. We've had it for a long, long way back. All I can say is, I mean, don't listen to me, don't believe me. Go off and research these yourself. It's on YouTube at the moment. I've just watched it all myself, so I know it's actually there. The point is that what we need to do is become conscious, so you need to be aware of all of these factors. It's like, you know, Codex Alimentarius, you know, all of these things are all linked. They're all bits, they're all pieces that are part of the whole agenda. Talking of agendas, Agenda 21, there's something else that you need to go off and research. What's it called? Oh, there are so many things. Britain on the Brink was a good documentary that was done by Sir Patrick Moore. There's so many different topics. Codex Alimentarius that you need to look for. Club of Rome, Bilderberg organisation. You know, there's even a very good series called The Arrivals, which is all about what's the term? Islamists. Islam.
Yes.
And
Yes.
why the construct of Islam is actually, there's a lot of it telling you the truth, and it's just in your face truth. So, and unfortunately Western society has been twisted towards Christianity and this, that and the other cultures, which is head to head with Islam. Again, you need to get over religions. All of this is designed from the very off. This is, you know, the level of understanding we need to get to. So please go off and research that information.
Divide and conquer has been used from time immemorial, and we're still using it, and people still fall for it every time. They create people who one day they're friends, suddenly they're your arch enemy. How can this be? Why are people believing the same story over and over again? Have you any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, basically it's a construct. It's all part of the same thing. They're using all these different methods: money, control of free energy, religion. You know, it's all a construct. This is what I keep on pointing out. The fact is that people have got to do some research into all these different areas in order to understand it. Wars, what was it, Smedley Butler, I believe, General Smedley Butler pointed out the fact that wars are a racket. They are a racket.
Mm-hmm.
The same people who are paying for the wars, or should I say, the population are paying for all these wars, but the wars themselves are just distractions. They're there to distract your attention away from these off-world breakaway civilizations that have been discussed, from you paying attention to them, because what we have to do is look at where the real problem lies. And if they're distracting you with wars, money, you know, all these situations that are going on throughout the world, they're all distractions. They're there to point you in the wrong direction. Again, we need to address the real issue. And that issue is we are being controlled. What more can I say? I mean, you know, people need to look for themselves.
I know that the spilling of blood is very important to the elite, and that's why you have to have one war after another. They keep finding excuses for armies to go into battle and for people to fight and kill. The human race was never ever intended to kill each other. Not in any circumstances. But these circumstances are manufactured, and I cannot believe the stupidity of the human race to believe what they're told every time as to why we really must invade whatever country they're choosing to invade at that time. It's ridiculous. How do we go forward and wake people up from this?
Again, same answer, it's the consciousness.
Yes.
We need to learn about how we're being controlled, how we're being manipulated, and how big the problem is before we can begin to address it. There is a hell of a lot of information that's got to come to the forefront. I mean, I'm talking about HARP, I'm talking about all these poisons, I'm talking about the medicines, I'm talking about our natural, our real spirituality to source. I mean, one of the points of putting aspartame in children's drinks is to cut off the connection of the pineal gland to our spiritual bodies. It's just incredible, the magnitude of it all. But we need to be able to address it. If we don't address it, we'll never defeat it, basically. Again, same thing, again, consciousness. We need to wake as many people up as possible. And we need to do it very, very quickly.
Our consciousness is awakening. We must all at the moment be aware that strange things are happening in our bodies, sort of like pins and needles, and we find we're exhausted, and there's no reason for us to be exhausted. But that is the awakening happening. Our bodies are changing into crystalline bodies, and our DNA is returning to full DNA. And it's happening gradually because our bodies wouldn't be able to cope with it if it happened quickly. And people need to know that they don't need to go running to their doctors. There's nothing wrong with them. This is a natural happening, and we must welcome it with open arms, because once we have full consciousness, we have freedom. A freedom that our human race has never, ever known. We are told that people in various countries are fighting for their freedom, but there is not one country in this world that has freedom. All of us are controlled. We need to wake up to that. Now, what next subject would you like to discuss?
If you look at Ben Rich, when Ben Rich retired from Lockheed Martin in the Skunk Works program, he actually said blatantly to your face that we have the technology to take ET home. Again, it's a bit of information, but what you need to do is go and search Ben Rich plus video plus ET or something like that and go and have a look. The information's there. He also said that we couldn't imagine in our wildest dreams the level of technology that we've already got. Now I say we loosely because this is being controlled from up there again. What we need to understand is that this is actually going on, and then we need to do as much research as possible to try and figure out how big this thing is, because it is absolutely huge. You take one layer off, there's another and another and another and another. We've got life extension technology that is way beyond your wildest dreams. We've got cures for all the diseases, because diseases, as we pointed out, are manufactured. We've got superluminal light speed travel. If you go and do some research on a TR-3B, you'll find out that there's flying triangle craft out there that the government own and they're running. And most of all, what you need to appreciate is putting aside all of this war, the religious hatred, all of the different issues that are all put forward of, oh, you can't do that because of this and it's this. Just get over it. because all the governments of the world are working together behind the scenes, yeah, with this technology. That's the point. If you do some searches on chevrons and the implications, that it's just incredible. The magnitude of this is off the chart. They have got the technology to take ET home. We've got free energy. We've got faster than light speed travel. We've got armadas of ships out there. We've got a serious problem as well, because unless we actually address this situation, it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. We've got chemtrails in the sky. You need to do some research on HAARP, because this stuff is more serious than you have any idea. If you do some research on HAARP, there are certain documentaries out there that link plasma and the HAARP technology itself. All these chemtrails that they're spraying, and if you go anywhere into a field and look across the horizon, you'll see milky mist. Yes. Again, these are all sprayed chemtrail nanotechnologies. Look at nanotechnologies, microchips, and Morgellons disease. What they're planning to do, and they've already done it, it's before your very eyes. Yeah, they're looking at chipping the whole population. The chips will connect with the nanotechnology which are in the chemtrails. The nanotechnology will form Morgellons disease. Morgellons disease is literally trillions and trillions and trillions of hair-like fibres that end up coming out through the skin and literally burn. These things, they've heated them up to hundreds of degrees and more, and they won't burn. They're wires. They're wiring us up to be part of the actual massive control grid. But we've got all the answers that we need to all these problems. Again, it's whether or not the people can get their head around the fact that this is a reality and this is a construct. Yeah, you won't need sickness, you won't need anything. All of that will just be bang, gone in an instant. But you need to address the fact that it's real. And if you can't address that fact, you can't understand the magnitude. If you can't understand the magnitude, you're never going to do anything about it. But this is the point. They don't want you to do anything. They just want you to be a good sheepy and go off and do exactly as they tell you to do.
I believe a lot's going to happen between now and the Olympics, which is another illusion to take our minds off what's really happening. I know massive changes are going to happen. Have you any ideas on that?
Yeah, if you do some research, you'll find out about the Illuminati card game. Just take a look at that, because all of the Fukushima, World War One, World War Two, 9/11, 7/7, they're all been pre-planned. It's all been set into motion.
That's right.
And they've already figured out so much amazing detail of how they're going to bring in the New World Order.
That's right.
The New World Order is so much bigger than you've any possible idea. Again, you need to research on that, because this information is totally and utterly vital. We need to be aware of all of these separate issues and put them all together and understand the magnitude of this three-dimensional puzzle that we're living in. There are going to be the New Madrid fault line, for example.
Yes.
I think we've touched on that already.
That's right, yes.
But, I mean, cutting a long story short, they're bringing the economy down, crashing to its knees. They're genetically modifying all the food that we have. We're all over the place through Monsanto, my Satan, as it were. The economic collapse is going to be bigger than you've even the slightest idea.
Yep.
Gold is shooting up through the roof, silver's shooting up through the roof. The resources of the planet are all being used up deliberately, so that in order to get the food and the sustenance that you need, you're going to have to do exactly what they tell you to do. Otherwise, oh well, the economy's collapsed, we need to go to an electronic form of cash. Well, that then leads on to a credit card, which is then linked onto the ID card, which is then goes onto a microchip, which then gets injected into your hand, which links with the... It's all